Hey everybody, Four Tankers and Dog here. Recently, Wargaming North America, they were going to have a contest where you submit a replay and your top tip as exampled in that replay. And I just had a fantastic replay, the one we're going to watch right now, but I thought, well, wait a minute, one tip from a whole replay? We can do way better than that. And in fact, first tip right off the top, did you see it there? Actually, if you roll back, do you have your tips set to minimap? If you scroll back and look at that battle loading screen, you will see the minimap and you will see what start you're on. That is absolutely huge. You know what tank you're in, you know what map you're going to be on, you know what start you're going to have. You can already be thinking in your mind, where am I going to go, in this case, as a light tank on Live Oaks from the Southwest start. That's huge. And then as soon as you get to the 30-second timer, well, then you're just kind of confirming, what tanks are available and how does that adjust your plan. And looking at the lineups here, I can see that I am a top-tier light tank. I am super fast. I am faster than a Sheridan. I'm faster than a 1390. I should easily be able to get to my favorite bush over here at J8. No problem at all. So that is tip number one. Make sure you have a complete battle plan ready to go at the start of the battle. And use your mobility, of course. Go streaking over to that position, especially if you think you can beat the enemy there. Now, another tip here is as you go through deep water here, having off-road driving really helps you not lose speed, but also, try to angle yourself a little bit, maybe not directly towards where you're going, but trying to angle yourself so you're minimizing the amount of time that you're in the deepest water. You could go across over here, but then you're trudging through deep water for so long. It's really, really terrible. So, not so good. Now, momentarily here, you're going to see me look back behind me. The reason why I did this is I'm seeing who's coming with me. The mini-map helps a little bit, but really sometimes for me, the Mark 1 eyeball looking back here, I've got more cowbell in the IS-3. Got the Ferdinand, and I've got the T-54 coming along. Well, that's 4 tanks on the whole compared to 15 total. That might be a little sketchy, but we'll see what we can do. And definitely, I feel like with my mobility, I should be able to get into my favorite bush and get away if I have to. And sure enough, I light the enemy 1390 nice and early, and he pulls back. He, of course, was probably going for this bush right here, which is the opposite position, this bush right there. Because I lit him, he has to pull back. He has to dance around and wait to go dark. I lit up the Emil too as well. There are great things all over by getting this position nice and quick and first. Now, even though we're going to be playing as a combat scout, and this is probably going to be, I don't know, this replay is going to be one of like the 300 series of videos of advanced tanking guides for combat scouting here. And if you haven't seen my other 300 series videos, if you want to take your tanking to the next level, go click up in the top right corner. Go check out those videos. They are really awesome. But don't be afraid to do a little passive scouting. It's okay, folks. You do want to get your gun into the game because it's a great gun compared to, say, that Batchat 12T or something. But if there's, good stuff to be done by sitting in a bush, that's great. And going over to where that 54 is right now, you can really wreck yourself if you do that. It's really hard once you're in here to get out. The enemy team might come flooding over, and then you're caught and you're dead. And as you all know, you just can't carry a match when you're dead. Now, we haven't lit much coming over these ridges here, so I think they're being very chicken on the 0 line. That means I can probably peek up and shoot the Sheridan free of charge. Hopping up over the rails here, zooming in my shot. God, I love how there's like a 0 aim time on the 100 LT. It's got such good gun handling. Not good accuracy, but great gun handling. Now, another hot tip. Be lucky. RNG is a great thing. He hit off of. Oh, maybe the turret? Maybe the lower hull or something? Can't really tell where that bounced off of. I mean, the 100 LT does have some armor, but being lucky is a great thing. Now, the 54 and the IS-3 are now both over the ridge. The enemy team seems to be being quite passive. We're going to take one more peek up on the bushes here, and then go ahead and jump right on through. Now, really big important thing here, folks. Adding more guns, the same angle of fire, to the same angle of vision, to facing the same turret faces of the enemy armor, it's useless. focus your attention on the same vehicles, work together, but get a different angle of fire, get a different angle of vision. And actually, this is a great spot here. You notice I'm kind of stayed low. Now I'm coming up with a bush between me and the enemy vehicle so I don't get lit. And the terrain here is so flat, I should be able to light the enemy vehicles. And if I need to, pull back and double bush and go ahead and shoot them. There's Mr. Emil 2. Pull back. See, I can double bush. Easy as pie. And do I need to call that out as a hot tip, double bushing? I sure hope not. But, you know, if you back up enough so the bush is opaque, they can't light you when you fire. That's the whole thing. I'm not going to waste even trying a shot there. Much better to go ahead and stay passive. Keeping him lit is nice. There's a nice artillery hit. Like we shared the assisted damage, maybe with the 54? I'm not really sure. Anyway, the 54 moved over to my right. You know, sometimes what'll happen is you get players who are like puppy dogs who kind of follow you around. And it's like, you know, no, separate, spread out, get a different angle of fire, give a different sense of vision. You know, don't just follow me around. It drives me nuts sometimes. Here comes zipping over here. Now, notice that right there. Huge hot tip. Watch the stats. It just went away here. Watch the stats. Even though the Emil 2 was gone and not visible anymore, we recorded over 700 damage to him. He is now a complete one-shot, and I know this. So I'm going to go ahead and peek the bush for a moment, see what's going on, and go ahead and advance on over. We're going to zip in and kill that Emil 2, get that autoloader dead. Killing autoloaders is a huge thing, folks. You really have to get the enemy autoloaders dead. 54 ends up killing him, so it goes. We go ahead and get a lucky bounce off our ass. And notice another thing here. The Patton just shot us for 258. He has the small gun. Probably even the weak turret is my guess. I can't really see it easily. Can't really see it, but at least he doesn't have the top gun. Handy to know, folks. Pay attention to those kind of things. Anyway, we finished our death-defying run. We're going to go ahead and zip on over and do a hockey stop over here. Waiting to go finish going dark. And notice the Sheridan is now dead, so we're going to go and swing over to the 4 line, pull up again with a bush in between where I am and where I expect the enemy to be. And sure enough, there we go. The T-44 is lit up. Now, another hot tip, folks. Wait until the enemy tank is double bushing himself before you shoot him, and you won't get lit. You don't have to double bush. I can't double bush. If I back down, I won't have the gun depression to be able to shoot him anymore. But I can just use him to double bush. Don't get lit. No problem. Moving in. Got a couple of allies here. If I light something in the swamp, the Emil 2 can hopefully shoot him. And the 54 and the IS-3 are kind of staying back, and so I'm hoping to give them some lights. We've tied things back up 4-4 now. Now, I gotta say, just in general, of course, always shoot the lowest hit point target first to get them dead. But most especially, it just tastes really good to go ahead and shoot Artie. So that's exactly what we're gonna do. I'm hoping my allies finish him off. If not, I may try to get him myself, but I gotta back down and wait until I go dark. Peeking back up into the bush. No lights. Now I'm hoping the Patton is over here, and the IS-3 and the 54, and I can just overwhelm him super quick. But he's not here. And I do get lit, so I'm going to go ahead and zing right back over the rails. We do get a shot into us from the T-44. We light up the 1390. We're hoping for some shots on him or the Patton. Pulling up to get some shots. We spot the Scorpion G on our left, but we're already aiming on the 1390. We'll go ahead and take that shot and back down. There's Mr. Scorpion G. Now, hot tip, folks. The reason why I carry 5 rounds of HE is for shooting Scorpion Gs and RHMs and Waffle Pens or 9s and Death Barns, the occasional artillery. That's what the HE is for. And I was almost done reloading with the APCR, and so I went ahead and took the shot instead of switching to HE. You know, kind of a trade-off here. I then don't bother because I thought I was going to shoot somebody else, but again, I'm back to the Scorpion G. That's what the HE is for, folks, is shooting. Oh, he's going to take a shot at me. Pulled back down a little bit. So another hot tip for you folks. Of course, watch the minimap. You know, this whole screen out here, I mean, it might as well be a picture of the Swedish bikini team. I know it's fascinating, but it actually has nothing to do with World of Tanks. It's all down here on the mini-map. We have lost the 1-2 lines. They're going to be pushing down into our base within minutes, and that is a serious issue. So, you know, the 54 has come up. The IS-3 is still totally holding back. We're not lighting anything. We're not doing any good for our team. And as a combat scout, as a top-tier light tank, you and you alone have the mobility to go ahead and respond to an enemy salient. We go ahead and get some lights. We're going to go ahead and duck down low, wiggle around, try to wait to go dark. Hopefully my allies get some last shots in, but I'm going to go ahead and motor on back towards base. The Karn shows up. He's going to wipe out the Conqueror, and we are pedaling hard as fast as we can go. We're down by 4 tanks, and so catching the enemy team out in the open, in this open field, in this kill zone, is really critical, especially before essentially my meat shields, the Roomba and the friendly artillery. If they light stuff, I gotta be here to kill it. Or if I have enough time, get in there and spot it myself. So there we go. The enemy Death Star is lit. Probably the Roomba lit him? Yeah, exactly. Zooming in my shot. Beautiful side shots on him. Artillery fires in and tracks him, and I go ahead and finish him off with the last 9 points of damage. Udez is right there. He's looking right at me, although I don't know. Maybe I wasn't lit, so maybe his ally clicked over on the bridge and he was looking for me or something. But he does light the Roomba, and the Roomba is going to get hammered from behind momentarily. We take a shot at the front sprocket on the Karn, but miss. And there goes the Roomba. RNG giveth and RNG taketh away. Don't bother raging, folks. You know, sometimes you get the most amazing snapshots, and sometimes you don't. It's okay. Now, at this stage of the game, I'm definitely using my mobility and the massive amount. I mean, I've got 1,000 hit points left. I probably have more hit points. Especially the IS-3 have. Oh, the IS-3 does actually have more, but, well, he's more cowbell. I've got a lot of hit points left, and I can totally wipe out that Karn. I'm looking for isolated enemy targets. I want to find them. I want to kill them one by one, and that's what I'm going to do. And when the chips are down, hot tip, don't be shy about loading a gold round. I normally don't shoot a lot of gold ammo, but when it's important, when the shot's got to count, go ahead and do it. And good thing I did, because here is the T-28. We actually have one more AP round loading, so we're going to go ahead and do it. But now we're switching back to APCR. We don't need it. We got the flanks inside of the enemy T-28. Notice I am staying away from the T-28. Staying behind him, but staying away. So my ally artillery can go ahead and shoot in on him. Sometimes I'll tuck in close and try to use him as a shield against enemy artillery, but I figure I showed up here so quickly and unexpectedly, the enemy artillery are probably not pre-aimed at me, so I'm going to stay wide, go ahead and finish him off. Now, how long is it till I go dark? I'm going to go ahead and weave around, dancing around, but this is a really important tip here, folks. Normally, when your light bulb goes off, it's 8 seconds till you go dark, roughly. But remember, you actually have been lit for 3 seconds before the light bulb goes off. So it's about 10 to 11 seconds. So when you're doing that dance of the spears around an enemy tank and you kill him, you need to wait a full 10 seconds. Now, if your adrenaline is pumping, you may not count very well. Your timing may be off dramatically. So watch the counter in the top right corner, or watch the reload counter on your gun, especially not really so much on a light tank, but on higher caliber guns, heavy tanks and stuff. Your reload is often around 10 seconds. So it makes it a really easy counter to know when you should be dark again. So dancing around, and now I am going to motor off, because the opposite point, the yin and the yang of killing the enemy tanks who are isolated is helping out your allies who are isolated. The 54 has been on his own, and we are going to go motoring back there as fast as possible. We're not going to go around the other side or waste time trying to scout through the middle. No, we're going to motor as hard as we can, as fast as we can, to help out the 54. Luckily, the FE-207 knocks down the Scorpion G. So it's really just the 44 and 3 artillery left. We're going to go ahead and cut the corner a little bit here, going up the 8-9 line. I presume, since the 54 has nothing lit, that there's nothing on the 0 line, so there's not really any reason for me to go up. Remember, I said that earlier as a tip, right? Don't add more guns and vision on the same angle of attack. Spread yourself out, support each other, be near each other, but don't do the same thing. I'm going to pull right back up to the bush I was in before. Now, as a possibility, I might be able to get a shot on that M53. I'm going to belatedly notice and zip over there. The 207 shuts him down. Now, a very important hot tip here, folks. Notice in the chat, I say ready 54. At this point in the game, odds are tanks are still alive are probably reasonably good players. You know, at the start of a match, when your team goes down 3 or 4 tanks and you start panicking, don't panic. Oftentimes, it's just the red players on the teams getting scraped off. And maybe your red players were a little worse than the enemy team's red players, but it's okay. They kind of vaporize. At this point in the game, they're probably relatively smart. And so try to communicate. Try to work together team. It doesn't hurt at all. And if I YOLO in there and that CGC blows me to pieces, I need my remaining allies to, if nothing else, use me as a meat shield and kill the CGC. That's the minimum that has to happen, is we have to trade 1 for 1 at this point. So I'm going to wait. I'm going to be patient. The artillery are on the ball. They're telling me how they're reloading. That is awesome. I get into the forward bush, so I have nice vision up here. And I am waiting for the 54 to catch up a little more. The IS-3, I would love to wait for him to get a little closer, but honestly, the 54 is pushing. And so here we go. Now, lock on the auto aim and start advancing. Now, when you know you're going to take a shot, you kind of want to, of course, angle your hull so that you're maximizing your armor angles, right? So you've got hopefully a ricochet on this side and the front plate is as thick as possible. But I want to get in close to the T-44 as fast as I can so I can circle him. So essentially I'm going to tack back and forth, almost like a sailboat, trying to get in close and hoping to bounce his shot. Ended up not happening, but so it goes. Loop around him here, go ahead and put in a shell. Trying to get over onto his side armor. He HEs me, which is hilarious. Another shot goes in. And last but not least, 207 steals the kill yet again. Being aware, jinking around a little bit, that I don't want to get shot by any artillery. I lock on the auto aim. Now remember, folks, when you I can actually see the shell. That's pretty cool. So remember, there was a Taking with Science I did on this. Your motion does not ever have to be compensated for. It's the motion of your target. When your target is stationary and you're shooting a very low probability shot, look at the size of my aiming circle, just go ahead and lock on the auto aim and pull the trigger and pray to RNGesus. It actually bounces off the CGC, which is hilarious. Moving in here to the left, I'm kind of thinking I'm going to go to the opposite side the 54 is attacking him on so we can work on him together. M40 gets lit. 54 gets himself blown to pieces by the CGC. A snapshot there doesn't go in, and we're going to move in as fast as we can before he reloads. Stupidly, we're loading HE. We'll talk about that in a second. But first off, let's do a little bit of Dukes of Hazzard here. Look at that. Maybe I can find a sound clip from the General Lee online somewhere. So I started loading HE, which was stupid. You know, the tier 10 artilleries actually have quite a bit of armor, and so it's not going to work out so well for me. Really, I need to get the rear of him, but he's being smart. He's backing up the red line and giving me his face. And so let's go ahead and proceed here. We are going to hide behind. We're going to put one shot into the flat plate. Hope it goes through. Does not. We're going to use the wreck of the 54 to hide behind here momentarily. Look at that. Remember how I said wait for your allies? The IS-3 gets a shot into the CGC. Now, you could call that a waste perhaps, but I call it as planning ahead and making sure we win the match. It's not hard to imagine the CGC blowing away the 54. I flub my shot, he blows away me, and then we've got more cowbell trying to carry the team anyway. So last but not least, we have the pleasure of watching the CDC go ahead and kill himself. That was awesome. And now last tip, folks, take a look at the chat there. Yeah, that 54 was kind of salty all throughout the match. You know, ignore the haters. People don't know how to play light tanks, and they generally always think you should be doing more or something different or whatever. You know, just ignore them. Let the results screen speak for itself. And if you want to see those results from this battle, go ahead and click in the video description down below. And as always, my friends, good hunting and carry hard.